Yes, wow, it is wonderful to be here. I had a little chat with Joey at break and just sharing with her a little bit about folding in questioning into the emotions, right? Because the more you can spark the emotions, the easier it is for kids to question. But what I didn't tell Joey is that I really needed some of her strategies yesterday. We came home from shopping, I take the groceries upstairs, and I'm greeted with this red squirrel hopping all over flying all over the kitchen and the mess, etc., etc. I am still not down from all that stress, so I need a few more strategies. Okay, in the little bit of time that we have the pleasure of being together this morning, I'm promising you that you'll come away with 3 things. 1, you'll have a few strategies that you can take back right away. 2, you're going to experience the synergy of guiding your thinking with questioning. Not only that, you're going to also experience what I call the chemistry of collaborative questioning. And then the 3rd thing that I hope you'll take back with you is you're going to be so darned excited about questioning that you are going to start folding it into everything from morning announcements to after-school programs and all the wonderful teaching and learning that goes on in between. So why is questioning so important? And it certainly is gaining importance. You've probably read professional articles to that effect. One of the things, of course, is that there is so much information on any one topic available to kids today that they might be interested in. But it's more than information overload. Not only is information changing, but knowledge is changing too. Because of our networked world, knowledge is no longer what you find between the covers of a book. It is very fluid, it grows. Who is the authority? All of these questions and concerns that we now have in this new world. And yes, we're trying to help our students to be good, responsible, and excited inquirers in that world. Those are a few reasons why questioning is really important. The key one that I'd like you to consider is that questioning is really the answer to helping kids understand a lot of things, what they're reading, writing, viewing, listening, hearing, speaking about, everything. One of the first things we need to do to ensure that our kids are good questioners is to build that culture of inquiry in our classrooms, in our school libraries, in the whole school community. And that means building some community in the classroom. One of the things that, that Kathy touched on in our very first session, this building a space for kids to feel safe. You know yourself. How many of you have kindergarten-age children? Or you teach kindergarten? Yeah, they are so full of questions you can't be. And they just spew out all the questions. By the time they get to grade 4, grade 5, you can't get them to ask an intelligent question to save your soul. Why is that? And I think you know the answer. We discourage it. We don't have time for it. So I encourage you to play with questions. And give kids lots of time to experiment. We're going to do that right now. You found in your package a wheel with question starters on it. You're going to need that. And each person, when I've given you the topic, you're going to spin your wheel around and try to use those question starters to develop a question about the topic that we're going to be examining. You don't take it apart, you spin it. Oh boy, some of my old technologies here are, I can see it's like the day when I brought clothes pegs into the kindergarten and they had no idea what they were, right? So I can see some of you youngies here are having difficulty with the spinner. Okay, we're just going to spin it around and play with it and see if that helps us to generate questions. Now, what are we going to ask questions about? My friend over here, I'm sorry, love, I didn't even ask your name. Yes. Krupa was kind enough to put a package on each of your tables. It's a Ziploc bag and it has an item in it. And also in it is rolled up the answer, so don't open that, please. But I want you to take out the item, pass it around, take it right out of the Ziploc bag, pass it around, feel it, touch it, smell it. I wouldn't advise you taste it, but some of them are a bit sharp, so be a little bit careful. And as you're examining that item, I want you to ask the group questions. Let's develop some questions about that item. Look at it closely, and besides what is it, let's use some of the other question starters. Ask questions about its function, ask questions about how it's built, etc. Just wrap up your questions. Sorry to not be able to give you any more time or opportunities to try it on, Ron. Okay. Who's got the one down here? This one. Okay, let me hear some of your questions. Are they clean questions? Okay. Go. What are your questions?
Is it a musical instrument?
Okay, more questions. What else did you ask there?
What would you use it for? Where did it come from? When would you use it? Has it been used before?
I'll give you a hint. It gets used every Sunday morning for breakfast.
Is that right?
Egg.
It's something to do with an egg, right? It's called a clacker. And you put it on top, well, not quite like that, but do you mind standing up so everyone can see it? Okay, you put it on top of the egg, bring that ball right to the top and let it go. And it cracks a perfect circle around your hard-boiled egg. You just take no more messy, or soft-boiled egg, no more messy. I know. My friend Sandy Swan gave that to me. She brought it back from Holland. So you'll have to make a trip to Holland to get one. It's called a clacker. Inside the envelope is the answer for all of you. I'm not going to leave you hanging like that. So I'll give you a second to look at the answer and then we'll pack it up and we'll move on.
You're right.
Okay, friends. If someone could put it all back in the bag. It was really fun to listen to all the young-uns at this table down here who had the mending, the darning, yeah, it's not an egg, it looks like a little mushroom. My goodness. Yeah. Well, that's the way it is. Most of these items came from Sandy, so I'll blame her for that. Okay. The point is we create that desire to know. We spark students' imagination. We teach them how to be very observant. Remember, both Kathy and Joey were talking about visuals and how powerful they are. You can use visuals, for instance, with an older class, you might use photographs from World War I, or you might use letters, diary entries, any kind of primary artifact like that to get kids engaged and questioning. So there you go. Okay. The rest of our session I've built around the 4-stage research process that we use in school libraries pretty well throughout Ontario. It comes from a document called Together for Learning. I brought it here. I'll pass it around if unfortunately some of you don't know it. I want you to get to know it. So I've also there's a handout for you that is centered around that 4-stage process, because what I wanted to talk about, if I can find that, yeah, here it is. Looks like this, your little handout in the package. What I wanted to talk about is that inquiry is important every day, every hour, every lesson, but particularly to zero in on something today, I picked the inquiry process. Because it is a process. It's not an event or a happening. We have to be teaching, and we need to be teaching questioning skills throughout the whole thing. The very first stage is helping kids explore a topic. I think it was, again, my friend Kathy who talked about that the wonderful teaching that we need to do in order for kids to be at their best. Far too often when we start an inquiry, we forget to give kids enough background around that topic. You can't expect children to ask questions about something they know nothing about, at least not very intelligent questions. You probably found that out with, with the questions you were asking about. It was tough to ask questions about something you didn't know anything about. So we give them that background, and then we give them an activity like this one, where you're building questions about questions. And you keep building those questions out. So how can we be a good citizen is our umbrella question, the essential question for the classroom. And then the students start building out questions. What rules do we follow on the playground? Will the rules always keep me safe? Are there rules for pets too? And they keep on building questions, questions, questions. Not statements, but questions. It's tough. It's actually quite a tough thing to do, but it gives kids wonderful extension to their ideas. And we make this really collaborative by having them build those questions in a collaborative space using a technology tool like BubbleUs or MindMeister, any of those tools where kids can be working on the same page at the same time virtually. Then we could have classes in a class in another area of the school, in another country, working with you on those questions. Wouldn't that be cool? We need to build questions when students are at the point of investigation, and these are just a few samples of questions that students need to be asking themselves, and you need to be modeling for them. They need to be very critical thinkers at the stage where they're gathering data. They need to know why one source is a good source for them and another one isn't, and so forth. Then they need to be developing questions at the processing stage. So they've got all these point form notes. They've got a whole folder full of point form notes. But what does it all mean? So again, this is a good point to introduce questioning and to introduce a collaborative idea too. Now you've seen the question matrix. It's quite prolific now. Sandy and I started reusing it. It actually originated from Chuck Wiederhold back in the 80s. See, I'm telling you more about my age. But we use it in all kinds of ways in Q tasks. And one of the most powerful ways to use the matrix is to build it in a Google spreadsheet. And then the students type in their questions in each of the cells. And they can see what other people are asking, and it gets very, very powerful because new ideas, of course, build on another's ideas. We call this plussing. We borrowed this idea from Walt Disney and Pixar, but the idea of plussing someone else's work is what the new edition of Q Tasks is really all about. It's about helping kids to be not only good questioners, but to work collaboratively with others to build better and better questions, to come up with questions that no one of them would have thought of all by themselves. Another activity that I just love to use is also from the 80s, from De Bono. 6 thinking hats is something that you may or may not know. I find that it is new to some. But we adopt this and use it for questioning, not just thinking, but using the questions as a hook or a guide for our thinking. So trying to think of a white hat question, and a white hat question is just facts, and you're after facts. Just the facts, ma'am, right? The yellow hat is asking questions that are, they're positive, they're logical, they're actually quite optimistic types of questions. So that's, you take more of the sunny view. The red hat are the emotional questions, the ones that deal with feelings. Green hat are questions that bring out new ideas and spur the imagination. We need the black hat questions too, because they're the cautionary ones. They're the ones that tell you to step back and, you know, we need to think about this. And the blue hat, the metacognitive or big picture types of questions. So just to give you a sample of this is much more powerful if I had you each take a hat at each table and work together to develop some questions, but we'll do that another time, or you can try it out with your staff or with a classroom because it is really fun and very powerful. But I'm going to give you a topic. I don't know if any of you watched that Marketplace CBC program a few, well, it was just a couple of weeks ago, where they talked about Canada's most hated add-ons or fees. Did anyone else see that? Yeah? And were you also surprised that you're being charged $280 every month by Bell Canada if you have, and they call that a touch tone fee? Like, how many of you who have a home phone don't have touch tone? So, you know, why are we paying this fee? Anyway, lots of good questions. I thought a good topic, in view of the fact that I'm leaving Saturday for our cruise and flight, is to talk about, or to think about for a minute, this new add-on that we're getting from WestJet and Air Canada, where we're going to have to pay baggage fees, right? So what do you think about that? See if you can just quickly come up with a white hat, yellow hat, red hat, any color hat question that you could share with us really fast. Sorry to do this to you fast, but I want you to experience it. Someone have a white hat question, just a factual question. Yes? How much is the fee? Thank you. A yellow hat question, something that's optimistic. You know, Carol is being negative about this, so thank you.
Maybe I can take more weight, or will it mean I can take more weight in my suitcase if I have to pay for it?
That's an awesome yellow question. A red hat question. A red hat question, something that involves feelings, etc. And remember, this is being recorded, so watch your language. A red hat question. Yes?
We're being abused, we're being questioned.
A question.
Why are we being abused by an extra fee for other people's carrying on too much luggage?
With a little gusto, come on.
Why are we being abused?
Yeah, awesome. A green hat question, a new idea question. Yes?
Maybe will the extra money go towards having more staff stay on instead of layouts?
Oh, you're very green. Wonderful. A black hat question, a cautionary question. Yes?
Will this make it challenging for lower-income families to travel?
Yes, that's a black hat question with a little bit of a red feather in it. But yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a cautionary question. A cautionary for Air Canada and WestJet. A blue hat or a big idea question, just to get a feel for it.
Lots more people will pay more money because their bags will be extra heavy.
A question.
Yeah,
Will-
will be upset because they're having to pay more money to fly because
okay.
their bag is overweight.
All right, so that's a reflective kind of question. You were awesome, great. And you can see how powerful this would be if I gave each table a hat and you worked together to build questions, and then we would build them again in a Google spreadsheet where we could all see our questions. And anyway, any topic, absolutely any topic, this is a great questioning strategy. Okay, and I'm just going to end with a couple of thoughts here. Think about reversing Bloom's taxonomy and starting with create. I think, again, Kathy will love this one. You start with having students create something. You know, we've got the big makerspace movement and Genius Hour and, of course, drama and the arts. Start with making something and then have students work around the other areas of Bloom, particularly with questioning. And just finally, one of the other add-ons to, I'm using the term add-on again, but one of the other things we've infused in the new edition is lots more around assessment. We heard that from you, that you needed more ideas around how do you assess student questions. And we've added a lot to the revision. And one of the things that we've added also is the idea of using questioning to help us, or to help students with that metacognition piece, right? With thinking about how much they have improved and setting goals and where their problems are and so forth. So if you're a tweeter, like Kathy, how many folks like to tweet? If you don't, again, one of the things that you might take away is thinking about getting started. To me, Twitter is my PD for the day. It takes 10 minutes. I learn more there than I could learn in a whole weekend at a conference. 10 minutes. And often less. So if you have a Twitter account, I'd like you to tweet out some big ideas that you'd like to share about questioning, and we'll get this questioning thing moving forward. Thank you very much.